So today on Cooking with Kooch, we're going to be making spicy shrimp and chicken pasta. So let's just get started. I've already turned my skillet on to a medium heat, so I'm just letting the skillet heat up, and then I've already prepared my chicken and shrimp. So I'm going to season this. What I like to season with is some Tony's. So I'm going to use some of this and just put a nice amount in there. And then I also like to use some onion powder, a bit of that. This is a mixture of garlic and pepper, so I'm going to put some of this in there. I got some crushed red pepper. That's some regular black pepper. And I like to use my hands to mix, so I'm just gonna mix it real good and then wash my hands again. That's how it should look. I do cut up my chicken breast and then I just use some shrimp as well. The pan should be pretty heated by now, so I'm gonna take some olive oil and just put a nice amount in there. Just gonna put some olive oil in there, a nice amount, and then once I have done that, I'm going to start off with my onions and everything. So you can cut up some fresh onions if you want to, and bell peppers and stuff like that, green onions, etc. I just use seasoned blend because it's really easy. You can get this in the frozen food department, food aisle. So yeah, I'm just gonna pour some of this in. I also like to go in with some minced garlic. So I just scrape some of that out and put a nice little amount in there as well. I'm gonna go in and start to stir this around. And you just wanna cook the onions a bit. Since they're frozen, what I like to do is kind of cook the water out of them and let them brown just slightly, but you don't wanna let them burn or like not too caramelized. Just cook them a little bit, because they're still going to be cooking throughout the process of fixing everything else. So you don't have to cook them for a really long time. I don't know if you guys can really see the color of it here, but they're not quite white anymore. They're more so like an off-white, more like a beige type of color. So I'm going to go ahead and put my chicken and shrimp mixture in. I'm gonna go ahead and let that cook for a bit, and then after that I'm gonna add in some rotel tomatoes. You can use whatever kind you like. I just really like these, and I drained the juice off. This is the original one, so it's not gonna add any extra seasonings or anything to it. So just let the meat cook for a little bit with the onions, and then I'll add in the tomatoes so they can cook for a bit as well. I've let it cook for quite a bit, so now I'm going to go ahead and add in my tomatoes and let it cook some more. Just going to let that cook for a minute and cook all the juice out of the tomatoes pretty much, and then I'll be back. While that's cooking, I just wanted to show you guys the sauce that I like to use. You can make your own sauce from scratch or whatever, or get whatever brand you like, but this is the one that I love. It's by Classico, and this one has fresh cream and aged cheese in it, and I like the sun-dried tomato Alfredo sauce. So this is the one I like to get. You can use whatever kind of sauce you want. You can make it like with spaghetti sauce, etc. I like to make it with this, so this is a really good sauce. So I don't know if you guys can tell, but it's not like any juice from the tomatoes left. I've cooked most of the juice out. So then next I'm gonna add in the sauce. So I'm just gonna pour the whole thing in. Then I'm gonna run a little water in there so I can get all of it out. I put the water in, I put the top back on, shake it up real good. and then pour that in. Mix that up really good. So I'm just gonna let it cook for a little bit. I'm gonna turn it down to about 5, put the top on and let it simmer for a bit. At this point, you're pretty much done with the pasta. You just have to let it cook for a minute. So I have a pot of water here. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn this up to high. And then this is gonna be for the noodles. So I'm gonna put in a little bit of olive oil in there so that they don't stick together. And you also wanna put a little bit of salt in the water as well. Just a little. My favorite noodles to use are the linguine, just because they're flat and they're not super thick like the fettuccine noodles, and then they're not rounded like spaghetti. You can use any noodles that you want, like bow tie, pretty much anything, whatever you like. I like to use these, so this is what I'm going to be using. I'm just going to wait until the water starts to boil, and then you can put the noodles in. To look at the pasta and how it's cooking. Okay, so the water started to boil. Oh, and also about the noodles, this is my favorite brand. Once again, I get really particular at the grocery store, and I have like certain brands that I like, and I won't purchase other brands sometimes of certain things. So I love this brand. It's called Barilla. So I like their noodles. They do have sauce too, but I always get their noodles and then I get the classical sauce. So I'm just going to put some noodles in, grab some out. If you like to break yours, you can do that, but I like mine's full length. So just gonna grab some more. And I kind of just do like that to space them out, and then they'll fall into the pot as they start to cook down. That should be plenty. Let's go ahead and check on the pasta as well. I brought the heat down on it. It's pretty much done. I've already tasted it, so it's just simmering at a low heat right now. I have to keep my noodles and my pasta separate, so whenever I plate it, I'll put the noodles down and then put the sauce and meat on top like that. But if you want to mix it together after the noodles are done, you can mix it into the sauce and meat. But yeah. Once your noodles have fully cooked, you can drain the water off. Here are the noodles. Okay, so I like to eat mine in a bowl, so that's what I'm gonna do. So I'm just going to get some noodles. I like to use this little scooper type deal. I'm just gonna put some in my bowl. Just like that. And then I'm gonna go into the sauce, and I'm gonna take a spoon and I just go in and mix it up some more, and then just scoop some. You can also mix crawfish into this, sausage, whatever type of meat you like. So that's how it looks. Here's how it looks, the finished product after it's all done. You can definitely add a salad, garlic bread, whatever sides you want to add with it. So that is it for how I make my spicy shrimp and chicken pasta.